Welcome to Visibly Fit. I'm your host, Wendie Pett. Today we have on the show Dr. Jackson Corley. He is a chiropractor and has one of the largest chiropractic clinics, or he did, in Northern California. He now is the creator of Incrediwear, and he has a heart and a passion and a mission for healing others that he meets. Thank you so much for being on the show.
I'm so glad to be here. It's exciting.
We met a little while ago in California, and I was just taken back, first of all, by your story and what brought you to doing what you're doing in the first place. I mean, do you believe that there are such thing as accidents in life?
There are, but I think oftentimes they're on purpose. So in my case, that's exactly what happened. The story actually goes along with, to me, it's there's some divine intervention that goes there at the same time. So that's exactly how my story started. So yeah. It's kind of cool.
What is that divine intervention? What happened on this accident? What?
It's kind of multifaceted because my story was, of course, being a chiropractor for 22 years, a success. I was driven, definitely, had divine intervention along the way always. But really what happened is that I was doing some extreme sports. Awesome. I probably shouldn't have been doing them.
You should. That's awesome.
And I was doing some extreme sports, and I was actually by myself, and it was kind of crazy because it was 2 days after Christmas, and I'm up in an area that I shouldn't have been alone. No cell service, all by myself.
Wow.
And then
buddy system.
Buddy system. More. It's smart to do. So, but I had to go about 10 miles, right. And it was about 4:45 at night. It's probably 30-minute down in this cavern or this cliffy area.
And was this in California?
In California. Okay. And so I'm going fast, and then I'm going down an area that I've probably done 50 times. I can't even count how many times I've done it. I know exactly what to do. And in my mind, I'm always thinking, I'm thinking, okay, don't look where you don't want to go. And then all of a sudden, I'm flying through the air. And I flew down this ravine, landing super hard. I thought I broke my wrist, thought I broke my hip, but I'm by myself, no cell service. It's getting dark, so I thought, wow, I'm going to get back on my bike. So I get back on my bike, and I ride the rest of the 10 miles. That was probably the worst thing there's more. And the next day, I got up and rode that same ride again.
Seriously?
But I couldn't stand up. I was bent over. I was like, that's how fanatic I was about exercise and riding.
Yeah.
And so I rode the next day. In spite of injury.
I'm going to get out there.
Male.
Well, okay, good point. Good point. So ladies watching, you get it if your man is like all about workouts.
It's crazy that way. Yeah. So the next day I rode that ride, and I was like, oh, I couldn't stand up, but I got to dig a hole that day. So I dug a post hole, and I was like, wow, I can stand up straighter. And then that night I was thinking, wow, you know what? I'm standing straighter. I just have hip pain. I'm going to put on a headlamp and a waist lamp, and I'm going to do a 10-mile night run.
Wow.
And so...
Did you think you bruised your hip or something?
Yeah, I thought it... Okay. My wrists were super swollen, so I had some wrist braces on. And
hint, there's that might not be
there's something going on here. And so that...
And you're a doctor. Yeah. That's the funny thing. Okay.
It is. It's pretty sad because, doctors kind of... just kind of go with it. But the bad part is that night I went on the run, and in the middle of the run, I'm thinking, oh my God, my foot is dropping. It just kept on slapping. I'm halfway through the run, and I'm thinking, please God, get me the rest of the way home. At least let me get home. And so I got home, and I'm toweling off my leg, and I couldn't feel my leg. And I was thinking, right. I messed up.
Right.
Then the next morning I woke up, I took one step, and I couldn't walk.
Wow.
And that was the beginning of what today is where I am with a new company. Here I am so successful with chiropractic and helping people and, working from 5:45 in the morning until 6 at night. There's hour wait to see me, hundreds of patients a day.
Right.
And I'm thinking, oh no, now I can't. I called in and said,
can't do my practice.
Yeah. I got up at 4:30 and I'm calling my office saying, hey, I can't make it in.
Well, what was the actual injury?
So what happened is I went to the MRI center, and they said, oh yeah, your hip is messed up, but let's take a look. And they took a look at the MRI, and there was a herniated disc at L5. So get back on the MRI, they said. And so I got back on the MRI, 5 herniated discs in the low back, 2 in the neck, shoulder. So I had done all this, but I think it was the adrenaline that had kept me going.
Totally. Yeah.
So now I have 5 herniated discs. I can't walk. I can't work. You know, where do you turn?
Right.
You know, and so, I mean, prayer, you know, you do everything that you can. And so I think, you know, we always look and try to figure out what the aha moment of creating something new or where we're supposed to be. And, you know, as I look back now, I couldn't walk for 4 months, went to 4 neurosurgeons. They all wanted to do surgery, but they wanted to fuse my entire lumbar spine. And there was no way I was going to do that.
Right, right.
So as it turned out, you know, I was thinking back, I was thinking, man, how did I fall off a bike? I've done it so many times, and I really feel like there was like a push, like the hand of God pushed me off the bike. And that's really where the whole story started, because then I was, you know, thinking, and I was praying, and I was thinking, what can I do? And I had an aha moment. Well, I had just been to Asia looking for a new product that I was looking to develop, actually, product for stinky feet, because my son was a hockey player and his feet were so stinky. I couldn't keep his feet in the shoes in the house, and even his socks were, it was the worst. So I had just been there about 2 months before, and I need to find something. And it kind of all, as I look back on it, it all kind of makes sense now of where I'm at today. But
sure, God totally connects the dots. It doesn't make sense when you're going through it, but just like me, I was in an accident, and that's why I'm here today doing what I do and what I teach.
Absolutely.
And so I believe that what you're saying with having the hand of God kind of
I could actually feel it. You know, it was weird.
And not that is what happened, but it is a wake-up call.
Oh, I think it is what happened.
And you get, well,
you know,
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And so, but you get to choose how you take that accident. You know, you could be depressed, down the dumps, resentful, or you could take it and turn it for good.
Absolutely.
And turn it for His glory. And that's what you've done.
Yeah.
You've turned your story into a miracle story, and then not just your miracle story, but stories that you are reaching others with through the product that God has divinely put you in front of to create and to manufacture and to bless others that are going through some serious health issues. And so your purpose is just greater than being a chiropractor.
Yeah.
I mean, being a chiropractor is awesome.
It was amazing.
You guys do some amazing things, and I know your practice was very successful and rewarding. But I'm just so grateful that, first of all, that you're here today to talk about this, and that also that you have stepped into your greater calling and purpose, and that you are helping others with their injuries and with their diabetes and different things like that. And we're going to talk about that here in just a minute. So actually, why don't we take a break? And because you've got some awesome stories of what Incrediwear has done for so many people. So stay right where you are, and we'll be right back. Inflammation. It is more than just a buzzword. I'm sure you're hearing it a lot these days. But inflammation is a sign that your body is under distress. It might be environmental stress, it might be weight-bearing stress, it might be because of an injury. But you can actually help reduce that inflammation that has collected maybe on your elbow, wrist, knee, or ankle. You can spot treat that area of inflammation. And so I really want you to go to learn more at the website at the bottom of the screen. Welcome back to Visibly Fit. Before the break, we were talking here with Dr. Jackson Corley, and we were talking about his accident, and are there really accidents, first of all, but how his accident has propelled him and led him to his purpose and his greater calling. And before the interview, you mentioned that a couple weeks prior to your accident, you were writing like affirmations or scripture on a flight back from, was it China?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you want to share that with us?
Yeah, it was kind of, and I didn't figure it out until this morning as I was reading this, because I do it 3 times a day. And what happened was that I had been, as I said in the last segment, is I was reading this morning, and I thought, oh my, this is where it all started, and this is the reason why
you do what you do.
It wasn't an accident, because this is my calling.
Awesome. Read it, read it.
So I'm going to give you part of it. I'm not going to give you all of it.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you the whole thing, but everywhere I turn, everything I do, people are there to bring me abundance and goodwill. I serve people. My service is true and from my heart, and I love to give. I'm thankful to God and the abundance that He brings to me. My phone, mail, email bring me good news and great joy. My calendar is always full of profitable, fun, exciting opportunities helping people. I listen well, and when I speak, I use words of love, honesty, integrity. As I love to serve others, I'm ready for the opportunity to do good for others. I give freely and lovingly with all of my heart and all that I have. I love life, and I'm thankful to God for this abundance.
Wow. That is a powerful affirmation statement. And this happened a couple, months before the accident.
And there was one word in there that was like, I'm reading and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm open to, new opportunities. And I was thinking, but I already have something incredible.
Right.
And that's what was,
that was the wake-up call. That's where this accident had to happen.
I called him and said, hey, I'm available.
Right.
What do you need me for?
And so now you have a product line called Incrediwear. And I'm blown away by just the stories of lymphedema and all kinds of issues with Baker's cyst on the back of the knee or whatever the case may be. But I think let's talk about a couple stories of how you. Or first of all, let's talk about the product.
Okay.
Let's talk about what is this anyway.
So I'll tell a little bit about me too, is because remember I couldn't walk.
Right.
I have no feeling down my right leg. I have no feeling down half the left. I have fasciculations all the time. I had 5 herniated discs in the back. So at that point, I needed to invent something for me.
Desperate.
So I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing it to create anything. It's for me. It's for me to get better. Yeah. And so I had just been, to Asia, like I said, but I was also studying semiconductors, because my background, chemistry, just really into that. And so I developed. What I did was I just thought, I'm going to call one of my factories and ask if I can put germanium oxide, which is like, what? What's that? It's a semiconductor. Can I put it into a thread and put it into a fabric? And they said, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. We'll try it.
And real quick,
yeah.
The semiconductor is going to do what?
Well, that's it. Right? So, everyone has computers or phones. You know how it works. You plug it in the wall or you put a battery in and all of a sudden it transmits.
Right.
And essentially what it does is it has a negative ion in it. And that negative ion goes into your body and vibrates your cells. And so really it's kind of similar to an earthquake on the bottom of the ocean. It shakes the ground and that creates a wave and the wave never stops. Or if you're throwing a rock in a swimming pool, throw a rock in the swimming pool and creates a wave. Well, if you keep on throwing rocks, guess what? The wave keeps coming. Yeah, and so I didn't think that's what it was going to do. I didn't know that. When I developed this, I was trying to do it because I wanted to develop something, to make my swelling go away. Sure. The edema that was there. The pain. And the pain is caused by prostaglandins or pain-generating chemicals. So if I get rid of the swelling, the pain's going to go away. Sure. So we've always known that. It's about life is motion. Right. And if you don't have that motion...
And we are motion. We are energy.
Everything's in a state... You're vibrating right now. The chair's vibrating, but now all of a sudden I'm going to vibrate it more, change the energy.
At the cellular level.
Yes.
Just like...
And even while you're sleeping. So you could be wearing a shirt of mine or pants of mine, and it's vibrating your cells at a cellular level. Okay. I didn't know this when I started. Believe me, it was...
This that is in the fabric.
That's inside the fabric. And so...
That's fascinating.
What's amazing is that I didn't know what it was going to do, not just for me, but for everyone else. My sister had diabetes, and I thought, well, I'm going to develop some socks for her. Yep. And so that was one of the first... I didn't come out with the braces first. I came out with my sock line first because my sister's with her diabetes. Right. And
what did it do for your sister?
It was the doctor who said, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to recommend this to all the patients because she could start feeling her feet." Right, and probably the swelling around her ankles went down. Yes, in fact, that leads me to probably the most amazing story that I can ever remember on diabetics. Is I was at an expo and a guy walks by. He's walking by and he can hardly walk and he's got a cane. And I just called him over and I said, "Hey, what's going on?" And I'm so that's me. I love to give. You have a big heart. And I said, "Can I help you?" And he said, "Well, no, you can't. I've got wounds on my feet. I've got diabetes, and I've got really swollen ankles." And I said, "Well, can I give you one of my socks? We're doing studies on neuropathy. It's 90% decreased pain." And he's like, "You can't help me. These are wounds." And I thought, okay, well, this is a tough case. Right. So I gave him a sock. I said, "Just take it. It's a gift. I'm not going to ask for anything else." And the next morning, his wife comes down. And she's crying. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what happened to the guy? I just gave him socks. That was it. And she looked at me. She goes, it's the first time in 17 years that I've actually been able to see my husband's ankles.
Wow.
He wore your socks to sleep. And I just want to thank you because I can actually see his legs. And that 5 minutes later, he walked by without a cane, just walking. Normally, he had 17 health food stores.
After
and
17 years.
Yeah, 17 years he hadn't seen his ankles. And really that kind of led us into, now we just finished doing the neuropathy, diabetics.
Yes,
It's crazy.
yes.
You wear the socks, and it's 92% decreased pain in a week just by wearing the socks.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and then...
I mean, because because we've had conversations,
Yeah.
that my whole thing about inflammation, because that's a big word, right?
Yeah.
And without inflammation in the body, then there is no room for
Right.
disease, right? So my big thing is about nutrition and exercise. But I feel like you bridge the gap. You bridge the gap on some levels, because there's a lot of times people can't exercise
Right.
because they're not able to. And so the swelling is so big. Anyway, I just love what's happening. And so do you have another story? I mean, you work with athletes, you work with Olympians, you've worked with all kinds of people around the world.
Yeah.
And what's been kind of maybe another one of your favorites?
Well, we have a lot that actually heals super fast, which is incredible.
And after surgery.
And after surgery.
Yeah.
So I was just at a surgery center last week in Georgia, and we had all these doctors together, and one of the doctors came in and goes, "Oh my gosh, I've got this guy that has total knee replacements on both sides, but one leg is just gigantic and it's not getting any better." So we said, "Well, here, take one of our products, put it on." And
yeah.
I kid you not, in 20 minutes, he comes running back in the room and he goes, "You guys got to come and see this. This is
After
cool."
20 minutes.
20 minutes you got to come and see this. This is so cool. And I have to tell you that, like on diabetics, it could be 30 seconds and your feet aren't cold anymore. In different conditions, it's crazy how fast it is. And so we went down and took a look at him, and his range of motion was 10 degrees when 15 or 20 minutes before that, and now it was 60. And the doctors are flipping out, so it was pretty cool. And I mean, the stories go on and on.
Well, I want to hear more, because I'm like really, really fascinated.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear more? If you do, stay tuned, because we have to take a break. I know, TV, right? We got to take a break. So stay right where you are to hear more stories of how maybe this could help you or a family member that you might know. But stay tuned. We'll be right back. Inflammation. It is more than just a buzzword. I'm sure you're hearing it a lot these days. But inflammation is a sign that your body is under distress. It might be environmental stress, it might be weight-bearing stress, it might be because of an injury. But you can actually help reduce that inflammation that has collected maybe on your elbow, wrist, knee, or ankle. You can spot treat that area of inflammation. And so I really want you to go to learn more at the website at the bottom of the screen. Welcome back to Visibly Fit. I'm your host, Wendie Pett. And before the break, we were talking with Dr. Jackson Corley, and you were sharing a story about how you went to an orthopedic center, right? And someone had just had surgery, and your product, your divine appointed product, ended up on this man's leg. And what happened?
Well, it's kind of an analogy for religion, really, kind of, is that the story goes that, so he put it on, couldn't believe how much better he got, and the doctors couldn't either. We, had all the doctors, looking at it.
20 minutes.
It was 20 minutes, yeah. And he had a hematoma on his leg, which is swelling on his leg, and the hematoma was gone, and his wife sat there in the chair, and she went, "Do you have anything for wrists?" And I was like, "Well, yeah. Well,
seeing is believing, right?
Yeah.
But that's the opposite of faith.
Exactly.
Interesting.
This is the whole thing about divine intervention, and I kid you not that this did not happen I'm not inventing anything. It came from above.
Absolutely.
It came from above.
Absolutely.
And really, all these different stories, and I have so many, from, NBA players to, the world's best soccer players to orthopedic centers, and it's crazy,
right.
Because
well, that's how you know it's God.
They call us in all the time, and they're like, "Oh, I've got this story. I got to tell you about this story."
Right.
Jackson, someone's on the line. They want to tell you a story,
right.
And so I think that's what you have to realize, is that what is the moment, the aha moment that goes to the next stage, that it's backed by God,
right?
Right. And whereas. Yeah, and how many times did he have to knock on my door for me to open him and go, "Okay, I'm going to invent something here"? He
didn't knock on the door; he shoved you out the butt. So
it's true.
There's wake-up calls in so many different every day of our life, we get wake-up calls, whether we choose to see them as such, but some are larger than others as far as wake-up calls. But wake-up calls even for those that you're reaching with your healing evangelism, right? With Incrediwear, where these people that you're working with have the opportunity to take their health to a greater place, or they can sit and dwell in it and have resentment and harbor those feelings that actually feed the inflammation. Right?
Absolutely.
Isn't that correct?
Yeah, it's so mind-body connected.
It is. It is. So that's one of the things that I love that you understand too, of course. But with this particular, well, you have different products for different parts of the body. But just the fact that it's created in such a way that it causes the blood flow, causes the cells to vibrate. I mean, I'm fascinated by it.
It's 100% natural too.
Exactly.
And so, and a lot of people, I think one of the biggest reasons that I got into this, being a chiropractor and being, trying to get people better without medication, that's one of the biggest things. I think it was about 17 or 18,000 people died from anti-inflammatories last year, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. It's 17 or 18,000. You can Google it.
Wow.
It's huge.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
Medications.
When I first was looking at it, in 1999, it was about 12 to 14,000. And it's all documented. You can Google it.
Sure.
And there's a lot of people that can't take that. There's side effects. They get stomach issues. They get all kinds of...
Ultimately, we shouldn't have to take the medication for anti-inflammatory if we're eating well, exercising,
God created
and using...
the best pharmacy inside your own body.
Yes.
There's the best pharmacy right there.
He gave us the produce to eat, the right things that would fuel our body to eliminate inflammation altogether.
Absolutely.
So, so what are some of the people that you've worked with and that have taken on Incrediwear during their healing process of a surgery, or just if they've got neuropathy or whatever the case is,
lymphedema, or
whatever it is,
back issues, sciatica, all those different things.
How has their life changed? I mean, what have they said after? I mean, we know this. You're giving their story, but what have they said?
You know what? The thing is that, just like that story gave me tears. We had a little boy that I actually started developing products for horses too, and one of the vets got a hold. I just did this just recently because everyone was going, "Oh, you got to do stuff for animals too," and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll do it." I don't want to do it, but anyway, the vet came to me and she goes, "Listen, I have a friend, and he has a severe condition where he cannot control the pain in his body." And I said, "Well, I don't have anything for kids, and I don't know what to do." But I made the clothes for Olympic players, and I did it for the NBA and NFL. And so I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to just give you some of the stuff we use for recovery. And this is probably the true divine intervention comes when you hear these stories, because she wrote me back and she sent me a picture. I'd love to show you the picture. It's really incredible. It's this little boy, and he's wearing the clothes, and he's coming back from school every day, and he puts on my clothes. And I said, "So how's he doing?" Well, he tells his mom that I'm wearing the clothes because they make me feel good. He has no clue what they are doing. Wow. He's only 8 or 9 years old. And that brings me the most joy. When
he doesn't have the pain?
No pain. Yeah, the pain is gone. And so, pain is about inflammation. So if I can get rid of the inflammation, the pain goes. And our product is kind of like putting a fire hose in a clogged toilet. It just cleans it out, and it's shiny clean. And that's kind of what it looks like inside your body. And so really, the reason why we're here today is because, we're just a small little piece of the pie.
For sure.
But we have to be able to do all the things. To make sure that we spread the word and spread the news of exactly.
Yeah.
And if you're not healthy, you're staying at home, you're not doing anything.
Right.
How are you going to go out and evangelize and talk about God and talk about all these amazing things happening in the world? And to you, if you're sitting on a chair and you're in a bad mood because you're in pain, or what have you. So a lot of the things that we get are, what happens to you as a person when you're out of pain, or when you don't have those kind of conditions.
I'm going to take that to a whole nother level. Think about how pain interferes with your closest, dearest relationships, whether it's your spouse or your children. Maybe you're in so much pain you can't get out and play with your child. Just think. That makes me want to cry.
I have so many stories on those too.
Really?
Oh, yes.
That's the thing about pain, and that this is helping to alleviate that, to take people to the next level of their health and their well-being.
Right.
That's what gets me fired up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm like tearing up. Seriously,
I almost teared up on the last story, so it's like,
I don't know why.
And when I was reading my affirmations, I was very close
because
too.
God wants us to be
it's a spirit
in
within you, yeah.
relationship with others, right?
Yeah.
And we can't fully be in relationship with others if we're not healthy, whole, and complete. And so this bridges the gap on so many levels for so many different people. And so I want to see some of this product, and I know you do too, because it's actually pretty simple.
Yeah.
Right? It sounds so complex, and what it does is complex. But show me this. What is going on? What is
some
this
of it actually looks like clothing. So we have, socks look like socks, but the special stuff that's inside is embedded into it, and so you can wash it over and over and over and over again, and it doesn't come out. So it's kind of cool.
Okay,
but
that's good to know.
We talked about the story about the guy with his leg and how the hematoma went down and how everyone around. And really, it's really super simple. This is the same thing that we use.
It's a leg sock.
Yeah, it's a leg sock.
And you said it's not compression.
No. And so it's so comfortable. We're used in surgery centers, and this is a big recovery tool for NBA, but for people with lymphedema, I told you a few stories off, or before we started, and lymphedema is amazing. And then, one of our biggest sellers, of course, is our knee sleeve.
Which I have used because I
really?
I use that because I have a little meniscus tear, and so then I was getting a Baker's cyst on the back of my knee.
Yes.
And it was causing a little pain, and obviously that's inflammation. Done, no more.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome, pretty powerful. So thanks.
So the great part is that we have things for every body part.
Yeah.
We don't have everything, but we're getting there.
You have
and
a lot.
The one thing is that because we're moving towards trying to develop more and more different products, it's coming because we have 9 studies going on from everything from lymphedema to diabetic neuropathy, which just got done, and then knee replacements, hip replacements, all sorts of different things. I even had a university come to me and they asked if I could make one for macular degeneration. Can you make a contact lens? And I was thinking, wait a minute, this is a semiconductor metal. When you put it in your eye, you're not going to be able to see. So I said, can they just sleep in a mask? And so the results so far are pretty good. We're doing even
that's fascinating.
Post-concussive brain injuries, all kinds of different things. I never knew it was going to go there. So that's the divine part of it. Is he's pushing us in the area that there's a need.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm so impressed, and I'm so impressed by your product, with your heart.
I appreciate all the time that you've given me. This is an amazing day, and thank you so much for letting me be on your show.
Thank you. This is awesome. If you want to learn more about Incrediwear, go to the website at the bottom of the screen. I know it will benefit you greatly. Thank you so much to Dr. Jackson Corley for being on the show, and thank you for tuning in and watching us here each and every week right here on Visibly Fit.